Hello and welcome to the Chart of the Week video with me, David Madden. Today's date is Thursday, the 4th of July 2019, and the time has just gone 9:50 British Summer Time. And this week's Chart of the Week is Brent crude oil. And taking a look at the wider view, from late December 2018 up until April 2019, we saw a sizable rally in the oil market. But since then, it's had a fairly decent move to the downside. And it began in late April, it began a nice series of lower lows and lower highs, and we can see here that the market, when it pressed higher in late June into early July, we can see that it ran into resistance at this red line here, the 200 moving average, which comes into play at 67.22. And the question we need to ask ourselves in this video is the oil market going to turn up, as it's drifted lower, is the oil market going to continue to press lower and retest these lows? And if we take off those lows, are we going to see further multi-month lows, or are we going to see a continuation of the wider trend that's been in place throughout 2019? So if you do manage to get a drive on lower from here, we could be looking at retesting the recent lows, which come into play around 60.30. And if you break below that, and if you break below the psychologically important $60 per barrel, we could be looking heading back down towards this area here in at 56.71. Any move to the upside might run into resistance in this red line here, the 200 moving average. As it's acted as resistance in the past, it might act as resistance in the future, and that comes into play at 67.22. A move beyond that could take us up toward this area here in the late May high in at 70.63. And if you go beyond that, we could then begin to think that, you know what, maybe this downward trend that began between April and June has come to an end, and we could be looking at continuing the wider upward trend that's been in place throughout 2019. That is, if you take out the late May highs, and if you go beyond that level there, we could be looking at targeting this area here, the mid May highs in around 63.60. Sorry, apologies, 73.60. Now, if you are going to be trading Brent crude oil, it's worth keeping an eye on what's going on WTI. So West Texas Intermediate, the price action has been fairly similar. After a major rally up until late April, we've seen a fairly sizable sell-off. And we can notice here that on WTI, it did manage to trade above its respective 200-day moving average, but it's now fallen back below its 200-day moving average. And while WTI and Brent crude oil both remain below their respective 200-day moving average, it increases the likelihood of both markets pushing lower. Dow theory tells us that the averages must confirm each other, and which essentially means markets that are similar should be kind of moving in a similar direction. So while both markets remain below their respective 200-day moving average, it's likely we could see further pressure to the downside in both markets. Now, if you are going to be trading Brent crude oil, please remember that today is the 4th of July, so it's a holiday in the US, so we're likely to see low trading volumes. Tomorrow is the 5th of July, which is going to be the non-farm payrolls event, which could see an increase in volatility depending on how the numbers come in. Speaking of non-farm payrolls, my colleague Michael Hewson is holding a live webinar tomorrow at 13:15 British Summer Time. If you go to our website, cmcmarkets.com, and under Learn and under Webinars and Events, you can sign up for that live webinar there. And finally, if you have any comments to make in this video or any of the videos we've made here at CMC Markets, please feel free to leave a review on Google Reviews. Thank you very much.